to our show today. My name is Cindy Speaker, and I have with me as my guest attorney Nathan Gouen. You know him; he's been with me many times. Nathan, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, Cindy. How you doing?
Good. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. It's been a little bit.
I
I'm
know
glad to be
it's been
back.
a little while. Well, Nathan, today we're going to talk about TBIs as they
hmm
relate to veterans. So, first of all, explain to us what is a TBI.
So TBI is just a shortening of traumatic brain injury, and essentially what that means is if there is any kind of action or like reaction or anything that basically impacts the head or the brain, whether it be the force of a blast or potentially a gunshot or just different types of like shrapnel fragments, different things like that. It's a outside force that either jolts or hits the head or pierces the head and causes significant trauma to the brain. And that can lead to cognitive disorders and other kind of issues down the road if you have a traumatic brain injury. More so, like a concussion would, or a very serious concussion or series of concussions might.
Yeah. You know, this topic is getting a lot more awareness in all realms, and I'm glad that it's finally coming to veterans because we need to help our veterans. I imagine many of them suffer from that. We're going to talk about that later in the show. But before we do that, can and how do TBIs affect other service-connected disabilities such as PTSD?
So kind of like we talked about before, a lot of the symptoms of TBIs are going to be cognitive issues. So either you're
Okay.
going to be more aggressive, or you might have depression or anxiety issues. It could be paranoid. It could be any number of different things in your brain. You have memory issues. There's that's the crazy thing about TBIs is there's such a wide-ranging array of symptoms, whether it be mental or if it's cognitive things that are neurological that relate to other parts of the body. The biggest thing you see is more likely than not, if the veteran has TBI, then they're probably going to have PTSD as well, and
Yeah.
that can be difficult because a lot of the times, they won't have PTSD by itself is bad enough, as it is. But if you throw into there also, some additional cognitive disorders, some more issues with the brain, some more instances where that's been compromised or injured in different ways, then that can really exacerbate a lot of the symptoms that PTSD patients would also exhibit. So,
Yeah.
a lot of times if you have one, if you have the TBI, you're usually gonna have the PTSD along
Yeah.
with it because something traumatic's probably happened at
Okay.
that point in time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Nathan, are there any new advances in the care of veterans in this arena?
So there's a new type of MRI. I was actually rereading an article. I was reading an article called Ryan's Story about the SEAL team member who had a TBI, and they tried to do conventional MRIs, but they're basically invisible in conventional MRIs. And uh, TBIs in general can be very challenging to diagnose or evaluate, both from that perspective and that MRIs can't see them, and also your symptoms could not display it for weeks or months afterwards. It could take a really long time. There's now a new thing. I'm gonna have to let's see what it is. A diffuser sensor or diffuse sensor imaging is what it is called. It's a different type of MRI. Essentially, what they say it can do is there's a specific amount of water in your brain, and I guess when the TBI, the way I understand it is when you have a TBI, that can be displaced, and so they can somehow use that to determine if there's been a TBI because it'll look different at different parts of the brain. It won't look as uniform as it should in terms of water
Okay.
content. That's kind of the best. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but that's the
Yeah.
best I can really understand is that there's a new way,
Wow.
kind of a different route that they've taken to try to figure out if people have TBI that's been helpful in evaluating those.
Okay. That's good news. Now, how many veterans are affected by this? How pervasive is it?
So also citing that article that we read, it's from Full Measure, and there's apparently the official numbers are like 375,000 veterans have been diagnosed or treated with TBI since 2001, but those are just the official numbers.
Okay.
Like you're talking about earlier, TBIs are getting a lot more publicity, especially as it relates to veterans, mostly because they're being misdiagnosed or
Yeah.
mistreated, different things like that, or they're kind of missing things. And so they expect that the real number of that would be probably double 375,000. They expect that, about half of the actual cases would go undiagnosed or, unreported
Yeah.
for one reason or another, since it is so difficult to kind of get a handle on and kind of pin down. So
Yeah.
there's been a lot, probably more so than they actually think, but like you said, it's getting a lot more attention. So hopefully
Yeah.
there'll be better treatment for it.
Yeah. Now, Nathan, how can you help in these types of cases or claims?
So if you have a traumatic brain injury related to service, that is some kind of disability that you can get compensation for, get a disability compensation rating. So if you've had any kind of traumatic brain injury in service, you can apply for VA disability benefits through that, and obviously we can help with that.
Yeah.
So if you have a claim that's already pending, or if you haven't put a claim in, go ahead and do that if you have a traumatic brain injury. And then if you get a rating decision back, we can obviously help you on that and help you get the benefits that you're entitled to.
Outstanding. Nathan, if someone wants to reach out to you, what's the best way to do that?
So they can give us a call either at 251-343-1111, or they can go to our website, www.gardberglaw.com. That's GARDBERG law.com. And the best thing about our firm is that we're accredited through the VA. It's all administrative law. So all the VA attorneys that work here can work on cases all over the United States, really all over the world, as long as you're a veteran. We can help you wherever you are. So if you're seeing this and you think, well, I'm in Washington State or I'm in Alaska or wherever you may be, and you think, well, they can't help me, we can help anybody. We've got clients all over the country, and we'd be more than happy to help anybody who needs it.
Outstanding. Nathan, thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Cindy. I appreciate you having me.
All right. To those of you watching, either live or by replay, if you have questions or comments, leave them right on this page. We'll get your questions answered. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.